I think at each new level of spiritual awakening, you start to have this very almost eerie feeling, like disassociated. Like, am I even here? Who's here? Who's the witnesser? Who's occupying this vessel? Like, I know there's a Peter here, but I don't think, like, what I think is consciousness is non-linear, non-local. So if I'm everything, if God is everything, then my consciousness resides everywhere, right? So I've had the temporary hallucination or the temporary narrowing of my consciousness through this vessel to have this experience. But I often think, what is this matrix reality? Is it a computer simulation? Kind of like the movie The Matrix with Neo and Morpheus and Trinity, and where he's learning the powers of the mind. He's learning to transcend. He's learning to like focus on that inner power, that God consciousness, that he's becoming the one, right? So are we all the one? Can we all become the one? Because we all have that eternal love inside of us, the same thing that, you know, Jesus and Buddha and Krishna were all preaching. Like, we all can activate this inside of us. But I just think a lot about this idea of it being a computer simulation and, am I really real? But you can really tap into some power. You can tap into, like, letting go of embarrassment and shame and these kinds of things, because they're just human constructs, and you can, like, really go for what you want, do what you want to do. I often just really battle with that feeling of, wait, but if none of it's real, then why am I here? Like, I don't know how to get motivated for anything, like in daily life, because this world is so angry and miserable, and it just seems stuck in these same, like, literally like a computer program. Like, people are running on scripts of misery and depression and sadness and broken marriages and screwing up their kids because they were screwed up. It's just like this old and tired script. But I often battle because I feel so lost. I feel like I feel so suspended, like billions of light years out in the stars, where I don't know what is real. Like, am I even real? And I know this is a process. It's like a balancing out of this divine energy flowing into you. You're realizing the emptiness, the nothingness that you are, but the nothingness is also the everythingness, right? Because it's an expansive space. But then I'm like, what are relationships? What does any of this matter? I don't feel motivated by anything. I don't know what I even like. Who do I even like? What do I even like in a partner? When you've been out so long on those dark nights of the soul, that, inner journey, it's like you go so far into yourself. It's like, you're like coming back up for air, trying to reintegrate with society and reality. It's just, I know it's a balancing out process for your ego, because the ego suffers a lot of pain, not knowing, like, I don't know what I am. I don't have a solid state of human individuality. And if you were more of a mystic or a seeker, you might have had that problem where you always feel like you're floating in the clouds and you're trying to ground your consciousness into this reality. It's because you've had a lot of that knowing that just came with you, as when you were a kid, when you were born, you just had a lot of that higher awareness. So it made it hard to exist in this world. It made it very painful to try and bridge those realities, because there's just so much pain and suffering in this world. So the more I think, the more I think about those theories of, like, am I kind of really the only one here in a sense? But in me being the only one here, it's not that I'm actually the only one here, it's that my soul is the one soul. So if we're all one soul, I'm the only one here because I'm everything. Everything is me. Everyone is me, and vice versa. So I don't know. It just, like, makes my head spin sometimes, because I can't figure out why. Just why do we have to suffer? Why is it so stupid? Why do I'm not motivated by the other things that most people are motivated by, And then the more I try and investigate and look and, this guru and that expert and this and that, you realize there's just a million different information and knowledge. There's tons of it, but really the only thing you can trust is when you go inward and ask yourself, you know? People love to give authority to the outside world. They love to make it a hierarchy game. Um, but this reality often does not feel real to me. It's almost dreamy. It's almost floaty, especially in the past week or two. I just feel like there's been some very intense energy shifts, very intense, like ego deaths and allowing us to float more. And I'm less identified with the Peter character, but it's also scary because it's like I don't really know what I am now, if there's more room for the divinity, for the everythingness. And it's like, all right, Peter, get your like self-obsessed and like neurotic tendencies out of the way. Get your obsessive stuff out of the way, because it's just we got to make room for this divine nature, God. Maybe that's part of me maturing and like kind of chilling out a bit and realizing that it's really not all about me, which is a relief in one sense. So when you step back and you see yourself from the eagle eye view, like all above it all, like, man, I don't even know what's been going on. This is just a crazy, crazy ride. The reality is changing and shifting so fast, and I'm trying to catch up. And the only answer I have is quiet stillness and meditation. It's the only place where we can truly tap in. We can't get it from other people's voices, other people's minds, other people's stuff. And it's also like having a remove from the trauma, from the painful things, the abandonment, the betrayal, the people, you know, hanging me out to dry, you know, lies, manipulation, all that painful stuff, the abandonment trauma. But it's also like a new horizon, this feeling of detached floatiness of like, what is this matrix? It's just like eerie and weird. And you know, then you watch some stuff on YouTube about NDEs, near death experiences, and like all different types of stuff. And you know, you can consume a lot of things that are laden with fear too, that are like making you feel paranoid. And what is this realm? Is it manipulated by higher beings? Who knows? But I can't know everything and I can't do everything in this life. I can just focus on what I want to do, my mission, you know, finding a wife, having kids, having a family, having some love while you're in the body. But it's like, it are these mystics and seekers, is it just like, I feel like you're always torn between two worlds. I wonder if that kind of inwardly tortured feeling ever really goes away, or if it's always there. I've kind of always had it my whole life because I've never been satisfied. Like, I need to go deeper. I need to know more. I need to feel deeper. I need to be connected more with the raw heart of God, because there's all this illusion and insanity and lies and just moronic, idiotic stuff in this realm and world. But I guess you could say that's like the big beginning of nirvana, satori, whatever, when you start being like, you know, not that I'm reaching that. I think we all can get that in little blips and stints. And, you know, the question is, can you maintain it? And the how fast and light speed this world is evolving and we are ascending. The vibration of the planet is changing so fast that it's just, it really is floaty. You don't even feel like you're in your body. You don't even feel like you're here. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm tapping into the consciousness and seeing it from like a video game character's perspective, but I'm not really here. I'm like the thing all above it watching me. And that's really beautiful because it's almost like, you know, like the saying, die before you die. It's beautiful, and it's almost like, man, I feel like maybe it's just me growing up. Maybe this is just like me finally maturing and like letting go of all my anger. I've had so much anger in my life, like just so much anger, that I've, you know, held resentments towards people, family, exes, whatever, you know, people that let me down or I felt betrayed by, whatever. But it's a heavy, heavy weight to carry, you know? So I don't know, it's just weird because you just don't, and I think that's like what those great ones and those ascended masters were trying to preach. It's like you can really love those people who harmed you and forgive them finally, I think, when you do start to transcend yourself and be like, okay, healing's a part of it, yes, heal your heart, etc., etc., but it's like you're really letting that divinity flow into you and flow through you, and you've been through the necessary amount of initiations, and you start to really, really mature into an adult and be like, wait, I see it like it's, you know, my parents, my siblings, my, you know, ex-girlfriends, whatever, all these painful things that were done to you in your life. You see it, and it's just like that coming together as like a perfect mosaic, because you're like, it's all okay, it's all gonna be okay, because it's all love and we're all aspects of God. We're all God in this, you know? And sometimes I do consume too much of, you know, that YouTube stuff or books or anything, or people that are more negative about like whatever theories they have about this matrix and the manipulation from higher beings and things like this, but how it's distorted, etc. But I continue to come back to like, our hearts are powerful. We are here for a reason. I refuse to believe that we are powerless. I refuse to believe that we can be overpowered by dark forces or this or that or evil or whatever. Yeah, it's the balance. It's the duality. Yes, but you know, and whatever it is, maybe none of us will have a clear cut, perfect answer to what happens when we exit our bodies and leave, and what this thing actually is. You know, and we get closer and closer as we unveil more layers of the matrix and ourselves. But I choose to have a positive mindset every day and battle. Not just battle, but love. But like from this higher perspective, come into the love, the just love your family. Just love the people that harmed you, because if they knew better, they probably wouldn't have done that. You know, if they had been shown love, they probably wouldn't have acted that way. You know, and it really is. And I would get so angry at people when they would say to me, well, you just have to love yourself, you just have to forgive and heal, and then you won't be so angry at the world, Peter. You won't care so much about all the people that are, you know, have hardened hearts and have dull hearts, you know, as it says in the Bible. But you know, and you won't take it on as your own pain, and you won't take it so personally. But yeah, I just think I needed to go through a lot of stuff to start to see it from the higher view and be like, all right, I'm not really that important, but I'm also the most important thing. I'm nothing and I'm everything. So it's like, it's a good feeling to realize that you're not that important in the way you thought you were, but it's a relief too, because it's like I don't have to have it all figured out. I can witness, and I can allow, and I can just like spread love and give love, and I don't need people to see me because they're an aspect of God, I'm an aspect of God. It's this big interplay. And um I don't know, I'll never stop, you know, digging and craving and catalyzing and shaking things up. Like that's just part of who I am. I know that's in my soul. It's like I have to do it every day. Yeah, sometimes I might like need to like torture myself and I feel like I'm just so miserable, this, that. But I always need to keep digging into my heart. And I've carried a lot of pain in my life, but it also has allowed me to stay connected to love, to stay connected to my higher source. You know, and of course you can experience that through love, through positive experiences, not just negative, but it's truly so weird. And because you can really get stuck going down those rabbit holes in awakening that are so negative. It's like, because your reality is falling apart right before your eyes. Like the projector screen, you're like, wait, what is this? Is this real? It's not real. But something has to be real. Something has to be real, right? And that's when you go into your heart, because it's the only place you can really trust. Like, am I a hologram? Are my friends or my family, is the person standing in front of me real? It's crazy. It's just you gotta laugh about it because you're just like waking up out of this dream or realizing that it's a dream, but it's so earth shattering as you're doing it. And to actually balance it and integrate back into your heart and integrate back as a human that can function in the world, that didn't just like go totally insane, is just and is in a babbling crazy person, which I'm sure that's happened just as much to people like us with this temperament. So thank God you had the discipline to work it out and stay present with yourself. But it's so key because this higher awareness is allowing me to be a better human, right? It's not just to go off and walk in the woods and stay in the mountains forever. It's going to allow me to be a better human because I will be more detached. But it can take a while for those of you that were born with these sensitive temperaments. You never felt like you fit in this world. It's because you needed time to sit and nurture that feeling of nothingness and everythingness, that divinity flowing through you to crush your ego. And in these crazy transitional times where we're all experiencing this awakening together because we're all connected, we're seeing like, wow, it's really miraculous in one sense. It's miraculous to feel that connected to God. And yes, is a portion of this reality going completely insane, acting out, balancing out their karma, lashing out, doing, crazy things? Yes. So that exists too. But if you can keep your side of the street clean and sort of right the ship, be the captain of your ship, get it back on course, which is really hard because I feel like my head's going to explode sometimes with the intensity of the energy in the world. It's all you can do day to day. Because I go back and forth. I'm like, wait, am I here just for me, as some people say, like to wake up from the dream and like, or am I here to like help others and feel the emotions of the collective and help and this and that? Because I feel like so many people are on such a different radio station, it's almost like they can't even hear you most of the time. You're in two different realities. But I do believe we're all aspects of God, and I do believe that turning on or waking up makes ripples throughout the whole globe, throughout the whole world. But sometimes I just want to turn it off. I don't want to feel all of this. It's like Cypher in the Matrix. You just want to go back to not knowing. You just want to go back to like enjoying the steak like he does in the movie, where he makes a deal to go back to sleep and go back into the Matrix, not knowing that, this higher thing that these people are, plugged in, like Neo and Morpheus and Trinity. So that's the thing. That's really the burden of knowing. That's that massive, heavy, crushing weight that Neo, Morpheus, Trinity have. It's almost like being a guardian of a realm. But the people that are asleep, or NPCs, like, not NPCs, but people that are just asleep and not aware yet in the Matrix, are they code to some degree? Are they like characters in a video game, like just on a script? But that's what I wonder about. Are they literally guardians of a realm? Like they're, Neo being the one, does him waking up and full self-actualization and becoming the one change the entire outlook of the Matrix? Does it liberate other people in the Matrix? I mean, that's something I'd be interested to hear in the comments about what someone thinks. But it sort of makes your head spin sometimes. But I do feel I'm up to the challenge, and I believe we're up to the challenge. We've been through a lot of dark nights of the soul the past few years. It's just a lot because you just feel like you're holding knowing for people that don't want to feel. You're feeling feelings for people that don't want to feel. So to know is very painful. It's like a very heavy weight. And I know there are people that will have like, I've experienced that before, like spiritual jealousy. Like people are jealous of like the way you're connected to spirit, or like the way that you are, or that like God comes through you. And I find that's a weird one because I just think it's pretty insane that anyone would be jealous of me because I've suffered so much. And like, if they only knew, like, being jealous of someone they perceive as wise or whatever in the spiritual sense, how crushing of a weight it is, and you just feel like you can't lead a normal life. You feel like you're always just beckoned to go walk into the woods, and like there's more energy, more spiraling through the light body, more, tornadoes of energy, collective energies, this, that. I feel like I'm floating outside my body. I feel like I'm getting crushed. I feel like I'm, the privilege of knowing oftentimes and then sharing it with people who scream at you or hate you or tell you you're crazy or tell you you're an idiot. The insanity of the unconsciousness. So it's like you have to hold this burden and do these things and awaken within this dream or within this matrix of craziness. And there's really no reward. So you can't do it for external reward because people, they love you one day, they hate you the next, social approval. It's so flimsy and flaky and fickle. It's not real. It's just like being wealthy. It's just a little figment of the matrix. It's not really real. Because a lot of people, the way conditional love is these days, they would turn on you in a second. When it's cool, when it could be cool to be for you one day, it could be cool to be against you the next day. It's just like they go with the wind. It's like a high school popularity contest, all matrix figments. So that's why we have to get right with God. We have to get right with, or whatever you call it, the universal force of love, the power that is in your heart, the truth in your heart that you can say without a shadow of a doubt, this is real. This is what I feel in my heart. That's why you just can't take guru's words for it. You always have to take direct experience, go straight to the middleman, go straight to your heart, straight to your own soul, to God. All right, that's all I have for today. Thanks.